Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very special episode of Nick Picks. Today I'm going to be showing you exactly how I edit and process and store all of the photos that I take and post on Instagram and on other social platforms. Hopefully this video will show you that you do not need to have a special professional editing software or anything fancy at all in order to make really good looking photos. So let's get into it. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I edit all of my pictures on an iPad. I personally believe that the most purest form of photography is an artwork that is completely transparent and allows the creative process to just kind of take over and allow you to make whatever you want. And I have found, at least for me, that I don't want to spend a bunch of money on a bunch of expensive software that are really complicated and do a bunch of things that I don't need. So this is my process. It works great for me. It might not work great for you depending on what you use it for, but I think if you stick through this video, you'll find that this workflow is fairly well thought through and has a lot of functionality that I find is completely acceptable. So let's first talk about the different things that you need a photo manager to do. A lot of people will use Photoshop and Lightroom in conjunction on their computer, whether that's a Mac or a Windows computer, and they will take all of their pictures, store them in folders or files or even in like a Lightroom library, and then they'll be able to edit them in either Lightroom or export them out into Photoshop and then back into Lightroom. This is kind of a cumbersome process, in my opinion, because you're dealing with actual files on computer hard drives that you get lost in file trees, and it's a little messy. I prefer to have something that's always backed up and synced across all of my devices and is natively built in to the Apple devices that I already use. So I use Apple Photos to curate and manage all of my photo library. Now, this is quite the extensive library that I have. It goes back to 1992, and this is just a great way for me to have all of my photos just in one place that's easily accessible across all of my different devices. So we just got done with a photo shoot, and I'm going to go ahead and plug in my SD card, this is just a standard 256 gig SD card plugged into Apple's SD to USB-C adapter. They make a Lightning to SD card adapter if you just want to use your iPhone and nothing else. That is definitely a possibility. So after I plug it in, you'll notice here under devices we have my SD card. And in here we have all these raw pictures which I just took. And this is something I should note. Just a couple months ago I was not into taking raw pictures, even though my Sony did support them, because all of my editing software and I guess photo management software was iCloud and Apple Photos. It wasn't very friendly with raw photos just a couple months ago. It supported some formats and other formats it didn't, and I just felt like it was a little too cumbersome to work with, especially on iOS devices. But with iOS 14, as far as I can tell, Apple is supporting all of the raw formats that are out there that I could find or I could ever find a use for. So I feel very comfortable now shooting in RAW and dealing with all of the pictures right here on an iOS device. So I'm going to go ahead and just click this import all new, and then we're going to skip duplicates because I go ahead and I wipe my card fairly frequently. This is almost full. I mean, I think I only have 2 gigs left on this 256 gigabyte SD card, so I do need to go clear some stuff off. But I just want these new pictures on here. So it's going to go through and import these. Each one of these pictures is about 24 megabytes or so because they are a raw picture, meaning that we're going to take just a minute here. And once they get imported, they're going to be put into our recents folder at the very top of our recents folder, at the very bottom, I guess. And that's going to allow us to easily find these pictures and separate them out and as we do our deep dive editing. So our import is now complete. We're going to go ahead and keep them on the camera just for now, just in case something happens. And now we are going to go to the recents folder, and we'll see they're down here at the bottom of the recents folder. So I'm going to pick the picture that I want to start with, and I'm just going to take you through the complete editing process of a couple different pictures here. So this is one that I've been working on for a little while. It was a really cold day today, as you'll notice with all this snow and stuff. And so I took a couple pictures. One of this was that classic hot water thrown into the cold air, and it steams and freezes all at the same time. Kind of cool. So I did one set. It was just 1 cup of water. So this was just a burst mode of me just tossing it up in the air. I probably should have struck a little bit better pose, but oh well. I think it's gonna work because that is a pretty good picture right there. That one, unfortunately, it's a little out of frame, so we're going to spend a little bit more time with this picture. So this is the raw picture. It's completely unprocessed right now, and as soon as you click edit, you'll notice that we will brighten up the picture just instantly. That's because the raw picture is pretty much there's no color grades or any color correction going on. It's just the raw sensor data off the camera. And so as you work with pictures, you'll notice that the raw pictures are, as soon as you import them on an iOS device, specifically in Apple Photos, they're not going to be touched up or enhanced in any way. And so as soon as you click this little edit button, it's going to force it to compute all of that. And it changes the picture so where it's kind of grayscale and now it's more vibrant. That just means your highlights are going to be more preserved and your darks are also going to be more preserved. Now I haven't edited anything here yet, so we're just going to go ahead and quickly throw on a quick couple things. I know that I want to increase the vibrance a little and possibly pump up the saturation a little. I just go through here until these look good. I'm a little pink there, so we'll back that down. I probably want to make this a little warmer. There we go. Really make that stand out. Now I'm going to just quickly crop this to make it a little bit more visually interesting. Maybe something like that. And since this is a pretty high quality 24 megapixel photo, I believe, I should have plenty of crop space and it should have plenty of detail left here. So I think this is a fairly good quick edit here. Obviously a little bit more visually interesting than even that. And you'll notice this is what I'm talking about. It's a little more gray before they get processed. But as they sit on the device, they are processing. You can even see these guys here are processing just up here. So this guy is gray and that one is a little bit more color processed. Just something that Apple Photos does for you. So we'll move on to the next picture here. This whole set here. Let's see. I went into town and found a little mini storage here that I thought might be able to have a nice picture taken of it. Now I'm liking one of these two pictures here. I'm just arrowing back and forth. Obviously you can swipe with your finger if you'd like. There's no worries there. I'm kind of liking this one. This one's a little bit brighter, so we're just going to go ahead and stick with this. We're going to edit it, and obviously that's going to brighten this up a little bit more. I'm just going to click the auto because 9 times out of 10 the audio gets me pretty close to where I want. It's looking like it's a little contrasty right now, so we're just going to go ahead and bump the contrast down a little. There we go. I think that'll help. And I want a little bit more saturation. I want those reds to punch just a little bit more. Although adding in those reds made my blues look a little weird, so we're just going to balance everything to the reds that I want. And then see if we can't warm this up and remove some of the blues. Okay. I think that's looking to kind of close how I was thinking here. Let's see if we can tint this back that way. That's removing a little bit too much of the red. Let's just go ahead and leave that there. Okay, so we got our kind of basic color grading done. Let's go ahead and straighten this so it is as straight as possible. It's going to punch in just a little bit. Let's see, I'm thinking this is probably going to be good at about 1. No. Maybe I already had it pretty level. No. Let's see. There we go. I like that. Great. So let's go ahead and line this up here, compress that space a little bit, add some empty space down in the bottom there. I think that's a fairly visually appealing photo. Yeah, I don't know. I'm picking here. Hold on. I don't mind that. I also don't mind that. So why don't we just stick with this, and if I decide that I want to later, I can actually just hit this little share button and then go down here to duplicate, and we can actually just duplicate this photo. So in a second here, there should be 2 of these. Did I not hit the duplicate button? What happened here? Duplicate, please. Fascinating. Ah, it goes down the bottom. I forgot. I'm in the recents folder, so it's just on organized by how you have most recently used it. So let's go ahead and leave that there. All right, so this picture here is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one here. I don't think there's anything super interesting here. I mean, it's not a bad picture, but it's not super interesting. Kind of an old abandoned gas station here. Here's one that I thought would look a little bit better, but as I'm looking at it here, it's not looking quite as interesting as I thought. I need to fill this frame in a little bit more, and I think I have another set where I was a little bit closer. Let's see here. Ooh, I'm liking this one. I'm liking this one. Let's take a minute here, edit this. So you see, as soon as I hit that edit button, it kind of processed that raw image a little bit, so we get the colors back. Just hitting that quick auto enhance button really helps out here. Let's just add a little bit of warmth back, warm up those wood and brick tones a little bit, and bump up that saturation because I am a just glutton for saturation. I also want to adjust my highlights a little bit, my brightness, I guess. Yeah, let's see. Brightness will do it. Okay, let's bring back black point down a little bit. That kind of adds more to the shadows and the darker parts, makes them a little bit darker, more dramatic of a picture. All right, this is pretty good, and I have it framed just about how I want it here. I do want to straighten this a little bit, make sure that we are completely straight. Something that bothers me that I can never unsee is when just something that should be parallel with the frame is not just perfectly parallel. I am lining up the post at the very end of this picture over here to be exactly vertical here. So I think we're good here. I'm gonna click OK. And I think that looks like a pretty good picture. So wonderful. We have that going. That one was an interesting Edison light bulb, similar to that one that I have in the background. I didn't take a lot of time to set up that shot or nail focus, it looks like, so we're just gonna go ahead and skip past that one. This was kind of an old dilapidated building that I was at. It actually had its whole roof cave in, and I just thought it was an interesting picture, and so I took a picture here. And this is framed up to kind of fill the whole frame with this window with like a brick border around it. I want to make sure that the bricks are all very parallel to the edges of the photo. You can just see the difference between when it processes a picture and when it hasn't yet processed a picture. So that's it processed, and that's it not yet processed. So definitely a lot of difference after it goes through and processes the raw picture. So I think just for framing purposes, this one's kind of a deleter. This one's probably, I don't know, I'm liking this one. Let's go ahead and just edit this one. There's also a hotkey if you have a keyboard connected to your iPad. Control E or Command E is edit, so you can just hop right into the edit there, which is kind of nice. Just click that auto real quick. I'm liking that. Let's go ahead and fix the framing because that's what's bugging me right now. Let's see if we can't get everything straight here and perfectly leveled. I'm liking that a lot more. Although since this is about a 70mm equivalent lens, there's a little bit of distortion happening with the lines are not going to be completely horizontal or vertical, but I'm quite okay with that because I like how this turned out here. So I think this is actually good. So again, this is just really quick and dirty editing. There's nothing super fancy or special that I'm doing yet. I will show you how to do a couple more fancy things if I find the need arises here. This is a stop sign that was next to this nice little red caboose, I believe, is what that's called. And I just think that looks really pretty with the red popping out. So let's go ahead and quickly edit this and see what that looks like with auto on there. I don't know. I'd kind of like to add a little bit of color back to that sky, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that because we kind of had concrete skies today. It's no worries because it was very beautiful. Just with the snow. So something that is bugging me, that stop sign is not completely like straight up and down vertical. So if I fix it, if I align everything to the stop sign, then the horizon gets off. So I think I'm gonna have to crop in a little bit and just see if I can't take the focus away from the fact that things are not level in this shot. And that's not my fault, that's just the whoever put the stop sign in. So let's see if I can line this up against that post there. I think this looks pretty good. Let's see if we can get that whole stop sign in. Okay. I'm liking it, I'm liking it. Okay, all right, I like that. We'll call that one done. And obviously, with Apple Photos, all these edits are non-destructive. You can duplicate and revert very easily. Let's see, I took another set of this guy here. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not really a huge fan of having it in frame here. Or in focus. I'm gonna leave this one. I'm not a fan of it. This guy here, this is my favorite kind of grass. It's kind kind of called like art grass or something, or decorative grass or something like that. Anyway, very pretty, but today it was snowing and frozen. So we get all of these little ice crystals on all of these little, whatchamacallit, grass seeds, I guess. So let's see if we can just go through quickly. Identify, I think I had framed this one to be kind of the keeper picture, but I'm kind of liking this guy as it's kind of filling the frame a little bit more, and I'm going to get a lot more detail if I do decide to crop in. So we're going to go ahead and edit this real quick. Ooh, that took away all of the definition, so let's brighten this guy up a little. Let's see, let's just do brightness. That'll help a little bit. Let's also increase the black, or decrease the black point. That was kind of getting a little too dramatic for me. Saturation, bump that up because I do want this to be more yellow on like a bluish background. So I want the subject here to be more yellowy, the background to be less yellow. Let's warm it all up so everything just looks kind of golden hour-ish. That's one of my favorite tricks here, just to be able to warm it up a little bit after I saturate it a little too much. I'm going to sharpen this just a little bit. It looks nicer with a little bit of sharpness, especially when you have these little crystals with so many details. So let's go ahead, and I don't actually want to use that aspect ratio. Let's say 3:2, and let's see here. Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty happy with the framing here. It doesn't even need to be leveled. So I'm just going to say reset and go back to the colors because I think that was actually really good. So that is that. A little hotkey tip for you. If you have a keyboard on an iPad, if you click the period, you automatically heart it, or you select it, favorite it, I believe. You put it into your favorites. So as I'm editing these, any pictures that I want to go back to or maybe post on Instagram, I'll just put the heart on it, and it's nice and quick just to be able to go through these and kind of select what my favorites are, and then be able to find those real quick later when I'm trying to upload them to Instagram or whatever. So those are my favorites from this set. Let's go to my favorites and then back down here, and we will see which ones I actually want to process a little bit further, because at this point I have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Is that 6? Nope, just 5. Wow, felt like a lot more than that. This is kind of not the best picture, just with the coloring. There's like a lot of, what's that called? Anyway, kind of putting a purple hue on the darks, which is... it's an artistic look, that's for sure. It's just, my lens is so fast. I had it at f1.4. We had a lot of, I believe this is artifacting maybe? I can't remember what this is called. But there's something when your lens is so fast, it adds like extra colors into dark shadows on a sharp object. So this isn't honestly the best picture, kind of all hazy, and it's just like, I don't know, not the best picture. So this one definitely does warrant some closer inspection here. Now, it was actively snowing, so you're going to notice there are a lot of little snowflakes in the air, which is fine. I don't think I need to get rid of those in particular. I'm not a huge fan of this black switch on the brick wall. It's not the end of the world, but I think we might be able to fix it up a little bit. And overall, I'm not seeing super inconsistent things that I actually want to go through and edit. So let's see. How about here? This actually window is broken. That's interesting. Honestly, this looks pretty good too. I might remove that little black thing. I don't know what that is. We might be able to fix that. Let's see. Oh, you know what? If I do want to keep this picture and use it in more places, I do want to get rid of this. I believe that was an RV that was parked in a parking lot right behind this little train. That's not very scenic, so we'll go ahead and remove that, and possibly that building as well in the back. We'll see if we can do that. This one is just about perfect. I'd say this one is ready to go. So after my review here, my quick edits and my review of this guy and this guy are both ready to go. But if I want to use this or this, I want to edit these a little bit further. So the next app that I'm going to use is actually an app called Pixelmator. So if I open up Pixelmator, this is $4.99 on the App Store, so it's not free. However, this is probably one of the best apps per dollar that I've ever gotten. I get a lot of use out of this app. Just all of the things that it can do. It's basically like Photoshop Lite, and it has a really nice repair function, which I'm going to attempt to show you here. So we're here in Pixelmator. I loaded up the picture, and I'm going to try our best to get rid of that big white ugly RV, And if we can get rid of that, we might be a little bit more brave and even try to get rid of that blue building behind it. So I'm going to click on the repair tool here, and we'll see if we can't get the AI to figure out this is something I want to remove. And look at that. Wow, almost never know that was there. Wonderful. All right, so that is looking a lot better. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the building in the back, although I think it might be pushing the AI's ability to remove stuff with this building. So let's see how that does. Yeah, that looks way worse. So I think we'll just leave the building there. Not my favorite, but this is in a city and kind of more urban, but still country urban vibes. I'm gonna quickly get rid of this little light. I leave this like little security light on the building. I'm just gonna get rid of that real quick. I almost want to get rid of this little flag on the mailbox because it's a little distracting, but mailboxes are supposed to have flags, so maybe I should keep it, but it's not looking like it's serving an artistic purpose right now, so let's just go ahead and get rid of that real quick. All right, you'd never know that was there. A little bit of brown stuff down here, make that go away. Just again, trying to make this as pleasing as possible to look at. There's a little bit of smudging there from when I got rid of the, that does not look any better. All right, so I'll just zoom in, and the way that this repair tool works in Pixelmator is basically you set the size, and the size is relative, so the more you zoom in, the more precise it gets. So even though I do have the repair tool set all the way up at 200, it could get a lot smaller. It's pretty much just working on the individual pixel level at this point. And anything you select, it's going to do its best to remove and then replace with whatever its best guess of what's in the background. So I think after these retouches, it's looking pretty good. So I'm just going to hit done, send a copy. Actually, I don't want PNG. Oops, I'm so used to doing things for thumbnails and stuff. We're just going to save the image as a JPEG. So now let's edit that other picture here from my favorites. And it was, which one? This guy? Yep, this guy. And this one, we wanted to get rid of a couple things here, so we're just going to click retouch once again. Repair, you can use your finger. There's no reason why you need an Apple Pencil. It's just a little bit more fun to use an Apple Pencil. I want to get rid of that thing. Boop. Let's make that undo. That's a little bit of artifacting, or maybe broken glass. Oh, man. There we go. I'm trying to like pinch out, and I'm not getting both of my fingers on there. Thinks I'm just drawing on it. Let's get rid of this little string here just to show you I can. Not really hurting anybody, but I'll just get rid of it just because. There we go. Boop. There's a little bit of artifacting left. If you do that again. Oh, come on. Jeez. All right, there we go. You don't realize how bad you are at doing stuff until you're trying to show people. Boop. Undo there. There we go. Get that and that. I don't know, just trying to clean it up a little bit. I know it's not a clean picture to begin with. It's not like it's sterile or anything. It's pretty gritty and urban, but it's, I don't know, cleaning it up just a little bit makes it a little bit nicer to me. Okay, so that is that. We're going to go ahead and send a copy there to JPEG and then save the image. So wonderful. Now we have these images back in my photos library, and those are not favorited at the moment, so we need to go back to recents. And then, where is my two pictures here? These are the two ones that I edited. So I'm just going to go ahead and heart both of these, and then we'll go back to my favorites, and I'll show you the side-by-side of each one of these. So this is the original, and this is the edited. Again, I didn't edit too many things on this. I just got rid of a couple little blemishes. It just kind of brought a little bit more focus to the weatheredness, the weathered of the wood and the bricks. So then over here we have the original and then the edit, so definitely cleaned it up a little bit. In my opinion, that trailer thing, whatever that is, probably wasn't the best looking thing to have in the background. I'd still, again, rather not have the blue building in the back, but I don't think we're going to get away with that at this point. So I think those edits are all pretty constructive. I do like going through them and just making sure side by side the edited version looks better than the original, because you don't want to go backwards. So I think I like both of the originals edits, so we're going to get rid of the originals. So I just unhearted both of those originals, and now they're gone. So last thing here that I wanted to show you guys is the third app that I use. It's actually called Over, and I know Drew has talked extensively about Over, so you might already be fairly familiar with it, but as you can tell, I use it to create literally all of my thumbnails for everything, and it's a really powerful app if you want to add any text or basically text or beautiful blurs. They have a really good blur tool. So if for some reason I was gonna make a thumbnail, maybe it's the thumbnail for this video. Actually, why don't we just do that? So we'll use this picture here. We'll set it to thumbnail size and quality. And we will rearrange this picture to where it kind of fills the whole frame here. And then I'm just gonna make a thumbnail for this video. So if you clicked on the video and remember what the thumbnail looks like, you know what it looks like, and I haven't even done it yet. So we're just double click on the picture here, and that brings up this little slider bar of things to do. First thing I wanna do is I wanna kind of blur it out a little. That'll allow my text to stand out just a little bit. Don't wanna do too much though, because that'll remove a lot of the contrast here and the detail. And then we're gonna add text and just, what am I gonna call this video? Editing photos. How about that? Why not? Sounds simple enough. So you can install fonts or use their default fonts, or you can even pay for their pro subscription. I believe their pro subscription is $10 a month. I don't use it. I don't think you need it. Their pro subscription really just gives you access to a lot of extra fonts and clip art. I find I don't mind finding my own clip art online or making it myself in Pixelmator. So I don't need it, but we're going to use a font that I've installed, which is actually San Francisco Compact, which is the same iOS font that you see on different things. Let's just make this nice and big. Editing photos, maybe a little tilt, add some interest to it, I guess. I don't know. It's probably not going to be the best thumbnail because I'm making it with you guys watching. Let's actually change the color real quick here. So we'll change the color from just a straight white to more of a gray. And we want that to be on the blue spectrum, kind of more of a lighter gray. And maybe change the opacity up. So you can do a lot of Photoshop type stuff with this, just with the picture editing, being able to get graphics looking nice. We wanted to grab this layer, make that a little bit bigger. Editing photos, and why don't we just toss in an iPad so that's a little bit more descriptive of what we're trying to do. I know I do have this in my photo library somewhere because I know I've used iPads in the past. So let's just see if I can quickly scroll through and find stuff, although you guys are getting the behind the scenes look at literally my entire photo library, which is a good thing I don't care all that much. Let's see, there it is. That's the one I was thinking of. Oh no. One of these is, dang it, that wasn't the PNG. I hate it when I do that. All right, so there were two images. One was a PNG that I had made and one was not. So unfortunately I get to, oh my gosh, what the hell, jeez. Okay, here we go. Way too many things going on here. Where are you? You were not right there? I guess it wasn't. Maybe it was over here. Alright, there we go. Alright, there we go. Alright, one of these is a PNG, one of them's not. This one's not. This one is the PNG here. So we're going to click and drag and then bring that right into over. There we go. There's the PNG. And something like that. Why don't we add a little bit of a halo around here? And the way I do that is you can add a shadow and then set that angle and then set that color to white, blur amount to 100, and then again I'm going to get a little angle up and off a little bit. This kind of adds a little bit of brightness around the PNG image. This kind of makes it stand out above the rest of the stuff. Okay, I think that's a pretty good one. So we're just going to click export and then save for that, and that's saved at a JPEG quality, which is good for YouTube thumbnails. That's pretty much the process here. I know it was kind of a long, rambly video, but I just wanted to give you guys a behind-the-scenes look at what it looks like to edit photos, just on something as simple as an iPad with just a couple apps. Over is free. Pixelmator is $4.99, and iCloud Photos is obviously free if you don't go over your free 5 gigabytes. Really powerful software that can handle all kinds of different images. I've made hundreds and hundreds, strike that, I've made thousands of really good looking images just with this iPad setup, and I know you can too, so don't feel like you have to go out and get a professional Lightroom copy of Lightroom or pay for the Creative Cloud to get Photoshop, because at the end of the day, I feel like these small pieces of software, while they might not be the biggest, fanciest software out there, and you'll have to do a little bit of shuffling, like for example, if you wanted to do some complicated text in Pixelmator, Pixelmator doesn't support text as well. They do support some text, but it's not fonts. You can't do your own fonts. So what I'll do is I'll go over to Over and make myself a PNG of whatever text I want at the size and font type that I want, and then I put that into Pixelmator. So there are a lot of workarounds that you can make and avoid those expensive software subscriptions, because I believe the Creative Cloud's $60 a month or something, full price. I know there are some discounts with students or corporate discounts, but yeah, that's pretty expensive, especially seeing how it's going to be a lifelong subscription. So I highly recommend this setup. Again, there's nothing super fancy about it, but hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. I've been Nick. This is Nick Pix. I've been Nick. This is Nick Pix, and I will see you in the next one. God bless.